said, in the words of Will Smith, keep my name out your motherfucking mouth.
Dude, with the same attitude as what you just did, doing an impression of Will Smith, I saw the greatest t-shirt 2 nights ago. I'm heading down to watch the end of a band I've never seen before. Shit, what were they called? Rival Sons.
Oh, yeah. You were at the show, too?
At the very end.
Okay.
Like the last 2 or 3 songs, I had one of the guys at the venue said, yeah, if you want to just jump in. And so I caught the very and I don't know anything about the band. Mm-hmm. They were amazing, by the way.
Very cool, like rock, like cool vibes.
Like the singer has a great voice. When they all chime in harmonies, it was great. On the way there, it's tourist season every night in that strip. It's like City Walk at any Universal Studios. And I'm walking and I see this dude coming the other way in his t-shirt. Giant letters said, "Ask your bitch."
That was it.
That's it. Ask your bitch. The best part about it, it's a guy who has nothing to do with your bitch whatsoever. Yeah. There's no way he's got, but God, I love the attitude of that. Ask your bitch.
I love it.
It's just so much attitude.
Did you ask yours?
The fact that it was that guy wearing it.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. It reminded me of when I was 15. Mm-hmm.
Can you do this in Morgan Freeman voice, though?
When I was 15, I remember having a shirt that said, "Ask my bitch." I had a t-shirt on.
You got me on that.
Did I? I had a t-shirt that was from Wasp. Wasp was
yes.
When I was 15, 16, Wasp was coming out, and they were really just inappropriate in every way. They were just fucked up. And so you're 15, it's like, yeah, I'm fucked up too. And I got a t-shirt. And the back of the t-shirt, giant letters. You know what it said?
I think I do.
I fuck like a beast.
Goddamn right.
I was 15.
Yep. I mean,
and I'm walking around
at 15. You know?
I fuck like a beast.
If that beast is a pug.
Because I couldn't put on a shirt like it.
Give me a minute.
It should have been I jack off like a monkey is what it should have said. I fuck like a beast.
Yeah, I love
15 years old. Because when you're 15, it's like, yeah, I want to wear that shirt and be offensive and like, oh,
yeah.
Who's fucking like a beast?
What happened to great shirts like that? I mean, like the Cradle of Filth shirt. I'm not going to say it, but that was a great, great shirt.
I didn't know
offensive as fuck.
What is the Cradle of Filth?
Jesus is a word that they use in England.
Oh,
yes. Right on the back, just huge. I was like, oh my God.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. I saw John Oliver. We did 4 shows together last summer. Mm-hmm. I'm a huge fan of John Oliver.
You dropped that name?
Yeah.
I'll get back to you.
But we did the shows together. I'm going to ask you about your show last night in Sacramento because you...
Lots of names to drop there too.
Yeah. But John Oliver he told a story at one of the shows about how his kid is 6 years old and he just he just paints this picture of this adorable child that just like to everybody is like, hello. And then they were in England, and as they walked into a hotel, a doorman held the door open and he goes, hello. And the guy looked at John and said, talkative little cunt, isn't he? And John said, number one, doesn't have the same kind of loose meaning in America as it does in here in England. And number two, I don't think you realize how kids will wait for years to bring back a word they heard somewhere in their lifetime.
Absolutely. At age 6, that's being said in school.
Ask yo bitch. So you did the big festival. What's the name of the festival again?
Aftershock. Yeah.
Dude, Aftershock lineup literally has every massive rock and metal band on planet Earth.
Absolutely. Every single band was there. I missed Slayer the night before.
Oh, wow.
The photos look great. Slipknot played last night, Rise Against, Evanescence, all different types of bands. And while I was upset that I didn't really get to see anybody, flew in on a PJ. Woo!
Private jet.
Private jet. For
Is that
those
what you call it?
Yeah.
PJ?
That's what we in the circle of PJs say. We call it the PJ.
I get upgrades. I get out of economy class, so I get it.
One of my friends was like, oh, Mr. Rockstar out there flying on PJs. I go, hold on a second. If I was paying for it, I would take that. But really, essentially, I'm like an Instagram model on daddy's jet. You know, I ain't paying for that.
What was the first time you ever? I've never flown private.
Oh.
I have comedian friends who do private, and it seems nuts. But first time you ever did private, what was that experience like? Do you remember being nervous about like?
Let me tell you about my first time on a private jet. Now, working all my life playing music since the age of 15. Traveling everything from a geo tracker with my Ampeg 810 in the back of the damn thing with everything else in there as well.
Dude, can I just point out when you get to the second part of the story, it is impossible, next to impossible, to get out of the first stage you are describing right now. It is so hard to make it in the music industry.
Absolutely.
It is. I mean, it was hard when I was a kid, but now that you can't make money off of music anymore, that it has to be off of merch and ticket sales.
We are slingers of black t-shirts. That's our job.
Yeah.
That's the main income. So we sell black t-shirts.
Humble beginnings, equipment in the geo tracker.
Yep. And then you work your entire life and hopefully have some success, which I've been incredibly blessed with playing with Five Finger Death Punch. And the very first time that we took a private jet, I don't remember where we were going or what the circumstances were, but I do remember that there were members of the band that were still drinking at that point, and it was miserable.
Really?
Oh my God. Yeah. Just waiting for there was a couple people that were partying, actually, now I think about it. But yeah, just waiting on somebody to say something inappropriate to this flight attendant that's on there, and just
first time you have this,
just being on eggshells in this thing. And I remember thinking distinctly, I'm like, man, we have made it. Traveling in a geo tracker, we have made it, and this sucks because it was just such a terrible vibe on that thing.
I relate to that so much, and I've said this before. I used to be jealous of guys like you because you get to travel with so many different people.
Oh,
because
I thought you were talking about just me.
It's a bunch of dudes hanging out. It seems like fun. I'm always by myself. Comedians are always by themselves. Sometimes there's some gigs where you can bring a friend to open the show, and of course you want to pick somebody you like to hang out with and stuff. Yeah. Sometimes the same thing happens with me. Russell Peters took me on my first arena tour last year, and we did it across Australia and New Zealand, and that was amazing. But it looks like so much more fun to travel with a whole bunch of people. In my mind, it looks like, all right, I'll just hang out with, I could hang out with Chris that whole time. We'd be on tour. And then if it gets to a point where I'm getting tired of, or Chris is getting tired of me, I'm getting tired of him, I'll go hang out with another dude. And then if I get tired of hanging out with that guy, I go back to Chris. And then I did it. I did a tour with a whole bunch of comedians, and we did a run across, it was a House of Blues run.
Yep. And comedians, notoriously happy people.
Oh, dude, that is the biggest bummer about hanging out with comedians is how unhappy so many comedians are. It's really weird. I feel like I'm not even a real comedian because I like people. And
Give it time.
The majority, dude, you know what? I love people. Like, yeah, it's weird. I don't even know how I'm fitting into this thing because I love hanging out with people so much.
Yeah.
Dude, if I get recognized by anybody, I will hang out with them until they get to the point where they're like, all right, we're going to leave. And I'm like, well, where are you going? I'll come with you. But
it eventually turns into hanging out in podcasts.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. Yep. That was the whole point of this. But I finally did this tour with a bunch of comedians, and there was one guy in our group who was miserable the whole time, and he would just
I'm waiting for that name, Craig. You're fucking up our clicks, Craig.
He not only would be hold a grudge against you, his way of holding a grudge was to give you the silent treatment for like weeks at a time. And here's what's nuts about it. You're describing this picture of like it's a private plane, first time flying private, but you're on edge because there's someone there that's not happy or really hammered, or maybe a couple people that are really hammered, and it's making the whole thing uncomfortable because of how hammered they are. And we would do these shows where friends and sometimes fans would end up in our dressing room to hang out with us afterwards. And they're like, oh my God. And they're like, this is amazing. And that show was so much fun. And they have no idea that in that room they're standing in, there's 2-3 people that cannot stand each other. And it's a trip, and it changed the way that I hang out now when I go to shows. If I'm friends with the artist that's performing and I come into the dressing room, I ask every 5 minutes, all right, you want me to leave? Do you want me to leave? I just want to double check. You want me to leave? Because I know there's a certain point that people overstep. Yeah. Like, and I know this now from having my own shows where we had like a fully catered dressing room. People will just walk in and just be like, oh, let me grab it. They just start eating our food and taking our drinks out of our room.
One of the greatest experiences that I've had as far as dealing with a public personality and being very accommodating was when you took me to go see Bert Kreischer.
Yep.
And was it T-Mobile Arena? Yeah, it was the first time.
No, it was MGM Grand.
MGM Grand. Did you hook it up the first time then?
Oh, maybe I sent you to a show once. But we saw Bert with Tom, and then Shane Gillis showed up, and then Jimmy Kimmel showed up. There was a bunch of people backstage.
Oh, yeah. But the first time you hooked me up, though, like, Bert didn't know me, had no idea. I walk in with, like, whoever I was with. I can't recall now. I thought it was you. But I walked in, and Bert was like, hey, my dressing room is your dressing room. Anything you want, like, go ahead. And I was like, man, this, like, if I was the main guy and in control of the hospitality experience there, that's exactly how I would do it. So hats off to you, Bert. That was awesome. Wow. But yeah, like, fast forward and going back to that PJ thing. Yeah, it was miserable back in the day, but now because of sobriety, because of new relationships or revamping of relationships and whatnot, the experience yesterday,
really
fabulous. Yeah, I felt like I was in Led Zeppelin. It was great.
Really?
Yeah, we got there like literally an hour and a half before we went on stage. Had plenty of time to, like, just enough time to do my warm up, get into stage clothes, get on stage, get up there. We crushed. It was awesome. And then 30 minutes after we're off stage, right back to Vegas. So in and out. It was beautiful.
Wow. I remember, it's funny when you say it's like Led Zeppelin, you just made me think, I wonder if Led Zeppelin had problems.
Well, I don't know the specifics of the story, but we were talking about that yesterday about Led Zeppelin. I guess they got offered some sort of, like, shitload of money to get back together and do some shows. And they were like, nah, not worth it.
To get back together.
Oh, yeah.
Not worth it to get back with those other guys.
Yeah, even with that amount of money. And some days I understand.
Am I wrong in remembering? I seem to remember that there was an issue with John Paul Jones. Like, the other guys didn't like John Paul Jones. Is that something I'm imagining?
That part I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
I just know that they were offered a bunch of money and they're like, no, I think we're good.
Because it was kind of weird that what was it? In the 90s, Page and Plant got back together, but not with John.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of weird.
Yeah.
And I could have sworn I had a memory of something of that. So you do the festival last night. Huge festival. How big is the crowd?
Oh my gosh. I think 80,000. Yeah. And yeah, just, for the most part, when I'm up there performing, I'm in the moment working back and forth on stage, singing, playing bass, interacting with the crowd. So I don't really have a chance to, like, look out and fully appreciate what 80,000 people look like. But thankfully, I found a spot in our set. It's the very last song where we play The Bleeding. And usually if Ivan's in a good mood, he has people lift their lighters up and the cell phones, and just seeing that many cell phones out in the crowd. That's the moment where I'm like, I am here right now. This is awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. Going back again to touring back in Lexington, Kentucky, packing a Ampeg 810, going up massive stairs, and then looking at crowds like last night. I'm getting a little, look at me bitching up over here.
The crazy thing about getting to that spot is, do you feel like, is it crowded with people who want to be in your spot? Like, is it a thing where, have you ever been aware of, this is a nuanced conversation I'm about to ask you about, but I know people who do personal security for bands, and they're so good at it, they get to go out with huge bands all the time. They're just good at it.
Oh, yeah.
And
Joey Perez was there last night. Do you know him?
I feel like I know that name.
Yeah. He works with everybody.
And he was with
Sevenfold.
Oh, wow.
Kid Rock. He does security for Danny Wimmer. Real good guy. Yeah.
And he was with you guys last night.
He was our security guy for the Danny Wimmer festival last night.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I've heard those guys tell me stories about, there'll be other security people who work in the security industry will get backstage passes just because the tour is coming through their town. Hey, can I come to the show? They'll come backstage. And my buddies who are working that tour will find out that these guys will say, hey, I know he's working for you, but I could give you a good rate. Is that a thing that's ever happened where people will, have you ever found out that someone's trying to get your job, is essentially what I'm asking?
Not only, I haven't necessarily found out that other people are trying to take my job. I have taken someone else's job. Yeah.
Which would make you incredibly insecure. But that wasn't something that you actually gunned for, although it just happened to fall in your lap. and the guy who you replaced happened to be an asshole within the last year before that.
At least that day he was an asshole.
Yeah.
And he paid for it because I got it now.
That is one of my favorite stories.
I love it. Yeah, but yeah, seeing that crowd out there yesterday, just awesome, wonderful performance. But I am so happy to be home. I've been out on the road since about May 15th, I think. So 5 months of touring, which I've worked before. This ain't working. But at the same time, just the travel, the physical toll it takes on your body, the going from, time zone to time zone.
Yeah, because you started in Europe. You were in Europe for like months.
Oh, yeah. I think we did 37 countries from what I remember over the thing. Yeah. So it's I'm incredibly excited to be back home. In my gratitude list today, I was actually writing that I'm grateful that my time is my time again for a little bit.
Why do you write a gratitude list?
The whole thing started for me early on in sobriety. We were out on the road and we had a sober coach out with us there. And one morning, I was going through a divorce at that point. That morning when I woke up, first thing I did was get on my phone. There was a message or something on there that pissed me off. And I was supposed to go to breakfast with our sober coach that morning. I rolled down, totally just wearing my emotions all over my face. He's like, "What's wrong with you?" "Nothing, man, nothing." He goes, "Come on now. It's all over your face. What's going on?" "Well, I woke up this morning. I got on my phone, immediately saw something I didn't like. And then that followed. And then that followed." He goes, hold on. We're going to stop this shit right now. From now on, the first hour of your day, you're not getting on your phone. You're going to avoid the phone because you're doom scrolling. You're looking for stuff to get pissed off about. Things aren't going good right now. You're newly sober. You're going through a divorce. You're looking to be pissed. That segment's coming. And he's like, from now on.
The music's ready.
Yeah.
Matt's got it queued up. He's ready to scream it out.
Yeah. Everybody's new favorite part. Mine included.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said, okay, from now on, you're going to do for every morning when you wake up, you're going to write down 5 things that you're grateful for. Can't be the same thing every day. You have to switch it up. So I was starting off with 5 things. And then I talked to a friend of mine named Sonny, also a sober guy. And he's like, okay, 5's good, but like dig deep. Try to do 10. So now every single day I do 10. It takes me probably, you write them. They're quite long-winded sometimes. So about an hour and a half or so.
Do you remember what the first gratitude list that you sent me was and what the number 1 thing was?
I don't remember the first one that I sent you, but I remember the very first one that I ever did. This is how different my level of gratitude is. My number 1 on my very first gratitude list was, I'm grateful for a fully charged cell phone. That's where my gratitude began.
First one you sent me said, "Ask yo bitch." No, I want to keep working that in the conversation anytime I can.
I like it.
So despite having the gratitude list, something's bothering you right now? You want to get off your chest?
Keep my music, Matt. Yes, I am.
What are you pissed about?
I am pissed off.
I'm fascinated by this.
So,
always pissed off about something.
Always. It's always. I mean, I just look like a nice guy, Craig.
All right, I'm going to see if I can help you work through it. But let's see if I can actually get through to you while you tell me what I'm going to charge my phone.
Yeah,
this is the only thing I'm mildly upset.
Fully charged cell phone.
All right, I'm going to get a fully charged cell phone.
So today I'm pissed off at motherfuckers that won't get out of the left-hand fucking lane when you're driving. Oh! If I'm driving 85, you're doing 80. The fuck out of the way. Grown people got shit to do. Hold on, Craig. This is my segment right now. Don't interrupt this flow. And the thing that pisses me off, either if you're driving in the left lane and don't get the fuck over, either one, you're stupid, ignorant, and don't know the fucking laws. It's a passing lane. The fuck out of the way.
Can I ask you one question? When you pass them?
You deal with this all the time.
Can I just ask you one question? When you look at the driver, do you want to look and see what they look like?
Yeah, and every time, confirmed.
That's what I was going to ask.
Doesn't matter.
You.
I'm always like,
I knew it.
Typical.
All right.
Typical.
So
even if it looks just like me.
All right.
I knew it. I knew it was going to be some white asshole male out there just hogging up the lane because he can. That's me. Get the fuck out of the way.
Yep. So left lane, get out of the way.
Left-hand lane, either you're stupid and you don't know the damn laws of the road. It's a passing lane. The middle lane, a through lane. That way faster traffic can go on the left. I was in Germany. Those motherfuckers know how to drive. They get the fuck out of the way. Not here in America. Entitled. Oh. Look at
This actually gets to me too.
that. So yes,
energy
you
drink
either
is
don't
helping?
know. You either don't know the laws, which I don't need you out on the fucking road if you don't know the laws, or two, you just don't give a damn. Move, fucking move.
That is something that gets to everybody.
Oh, it drives me absolutely crazy. I love driving fast. I'm a fast driver. I love speeding. Love speeding. Got the money to pay the tickets. Don't give a fuck. Move. Let's go. But I'm a safe driver as well. From riding motorcycles.
Yep.
I am all about. I don't necessarily weave in and out of traffic a lot, but I'm never next to someone ever, because if they're next to you, they can hit you. So I'm always maneuvering and staying out of the way.
I know that you
like
have a
going
car
fast.
that's good for speed. How many? You have 2 cars?
Yes.
2 cars. And
Yep.
the one that I had, I don't even know what kind of car it is. You don't have to tell me, because
Yep.
I don't know anything about cars.
Mhm.
I just know when I hit the gas, I was like, oh shit. AC/DC's playing on the radio. And I hit the gas and I was like, whoa. And I felt like a man for the first time.
Oh yeah.
But I think that's a relatable thing for everybody is traffic.
It
People-
bugs me to no end. In sobriety, I've tried to work on my anger.
I honestly, here's the weird thing is,
I just saw it in his face right now.
but here's
Don't
the
be
weird thing
bullshit,
is,
man. I know you, Chris.
I've never, and I'm lucky for this,
Mhm.
I've never actually seen you get pissed in the way that you described.
Yeah,
when you get pissed.
I'm pretty good about elevating quickly and then coming
Mm.
back down. It goes from 0 to 100 faster than that car that you drove. But
Mm.
I'm able to kind of level
Fast
out a little bit. Yeah. One day, while out on tour, I actually had the opportunity to beat the ass legally in a controlled setting of someone who was driving like an asshole. So I trained at Extreme Couture here in Vegas. I've been training Muay Thai for 16 years probably.
Okay.
And one day I'm driving around on the 215, which is the road around Vegas out here. And I see this guy in a Mustang driving like a dick. I'm fuming.
And you got a good look at it.
Fuming behind the wheel.
You saw what he looked like.
Oh, this jackass. All in and out, not using no turn signals, hanging out in the left lane, all the stuff that pisses me off. We get closer to the exit going towards the gym. This gentleman takes the exit too. I'm like, oh, please be going to the gym. Please.
And he showed up there.
I go up to, he takes off super fast, even faster than me, which is probably what really pissed me off, if I'm being honest. I pull up to the gym,
Hypocrisy.
and there's this one section where like motorcycles will park.
Mhm.
It's kind of like the end of a sidewalk, basically. Cars are not supposed to go there. That Mustang parked right there. I'm like, oh, he's here. Please be in the same class. I walk in because I mean mugged the shit out of him when he was driving out on the road. I knew who he was. He was in the same class that I was in. Mind you, I have a very good relationship with the trainers over at Extreme Couture.
So you got to tell him, I want that guy.
What I did was I even specified the fucking workout that I wanted that day because I knew I was going to get him. So
Oh, you've never told me this story. This is crazy.
this is how petty I am. And warning, don't drive like an asshole because I'm coming to get you. So I pull in. He's in the class. I immediately tell the instructor, his name is Tim, said, hey, Tim, I'm only here for the day. It was one of those times where we had a day off in Vegas. So I went in to train and then I was going back out on the road again. I said, hey, I want to work on kicks today. Can we do kicks? He's like, oh, yeah, no problem. So we go through,
I want to work on kicks to the nuts.
Yeah. Oh, no.
I'll start with that guy.
No, it's much more smooth than that. So we start the class, everything's going good. At about the 30-minute mark, we start going into the kick portion of the workout. Tim's like, all right, everybody grab a kick shield. A kick shield is basically like a 3 foot by 2 foot shield that you put on your leg or you hold it up and the person kicks the pad.
Okay.
You can go full force and the holder of the pad hypothetically shouldn't get hurt
Right.
while holding those pads unless you're getting kicked by a dude that's 230 pounds, 6'2", been doing Muay Thai for 14 years. Gives you the opportunity to let me back it down a little bit, but your dumbass tries to be a man.
The guy holding the thing is the guy that you saw in traffic.
As soon as he goes kick shield, he goes, all right, grab a kick shield and a partner. I go, you over here.
By the way, does he recognize you as the guy in the street?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he has no idea.
Has no idea
No idea.
whatsoever. No idea. So we get in there.
Oh, man.
Tim wants to do fast kicks. I tell the guy, I don't want to do fast. I'm going for power today. He goes, okay. And I explained, hey, I've been training for a long time. I'm a big dude. I'm going to go hard because I've only got one day before I have to go back out on the road. So I'm going hard today. If you need me to back it off, let me know. I will happily back it off. I knew he wasn't going to have me back it off.
Whoa.
So he holds the pad, all 6'2", 230 pounds of me with 14
Anger.
years of Muay Thai training.
Road rage.
Pissed off about that motherfucker that didn't know how to drive. This is my moment. Well, boom! Hit that pad. I could see it in his face. Oh! And I was like, oh. Boom! I go, is that okay? Not too much? You good? He goes, no, that's okay. It's okay. Boom! He would not, he could not bring himself to tell me to back it down.
Wow.
So
And he has no idea.
had no idea. And then he, of course,
And that guy's watching this right now going, that's the fucking guy who wouldn't back off on me.
that's right. The fucking guy. Don't you forget it. So then he kicks the bag. Cool, whatever. You know what? And then we go back and do it. And at the end of the class, we all like go by and, you know, shake each other's hands and whatnot. And at the end of the class, I go, hey man, drive safe.
That's hilarious.
Yep. So I got him back. And then
Timing.
I heard through the grapevine that the next day he showed up to class, full bruise,
I was going to, yeah.
like through the pad, bruise
Really?
on his thigh. I was like, got it.
Timing.
One for the good people.
Wow. Timing. I only had something similar like that happen to me once. It was in high school. I was going to school where I was going to serve a full day of in-school detention for something. It happened to me a couple of times.
Your mouth.
Where, yeah, I had to, I'm going to, so you go into, you go to school, but you have to report to this one room where you're supposed to sit in silence for the entire 8 days. Or 8 hours. 8 hours. So you get to go grab a lunch, but you need to remain silent for the entire 8 hours.
So essentially Guantanamo Bay for you.
Yeah, it is. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And so before I got on the bus for school, I went to the convenience store to get some candy that I was going to sneak in because you're not supposed to have candy in there. And there was an old guy that was in line in front of me, and I was being obnoxious. I'm sure whatever I was doing, I absolutely deserved for him to look at me and make a comment about my behavior, to which I just said, yeah, okay, old man. And I made a joke about him, and he walked out. And then 45 minutes later, I arrive at school. He's behind the desk at
Love
the
it.
detention. And I was like, oh, man.
Yep.
So I'm the other dude in your story.
Yep. Fully bruised.
Yeah.
Walking with a limp. Remembering why you don't run your mouth.
Can I just point out something about you that's crazy? People, I've been having this conversation so much over the last couple of years that people are not one thing. You just described your rage that you have. I have to move at the end of this month, and I don't know who to ask to help me. Most of my friends in this town are musicians, and I just keep thinking, man, that guy's not going to want to help me at all. And then all of a sudden I had an epiphany, and I asked you the other day, I said, would it be okay to hit up one of your employees? That your band has employed so many people in this town who've had every kind of job, from techs to assistants, and essentially gigs where they're just runners. They're just an assistant to the band. They just do chores for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, it might be good to like offer someone like that who's a diligent worker, to offer them some money and just say, hey, can you just help me? There's 3 large items I need to move. I tell you about it, and you said, well, what is it you got to move? And I said, a couch, a bed, and a table. And you said, I'll just come over and help you. And I was like, really? That's crazy to me.
Yep.
Because your job is not one where you see people being willing to help people move.
I don't know if you know this or not, but right when I first joined Death Punch.
I thought you were going to say, I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm regretting saying.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all.
When you first joined Death Punch.
Yep. In the very beginning, I took a pay cut going from bartending in Las Vegas, going to Death Punches. Like, early on. Oh, yeah. Vegas bartending money is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Oh, so it's more of a testament of how much money you can make in Vegas.
Exactly.
Whoa.
Yeah. And, I was a new guy, so I was getting, whatever in the very beginning.
No.
And I was getting just paid for when I was on the road touring. I wasn't getting any retainer. Me being a smart dude, knowing that this information would get back to those who pay me in 5 Finger Death Punch. You got yelled at.
I got a note.
You got a note.
Tapping.
Yep, an active note. But I was wanting a salary or at least getting paid a retainer while being at home, so I didn't have to work, while not on the road. And I knew Death Punch, they had just completed American Capitalists. The band was really growing big, and I was not being given a retainer. So what I did, I had a friend who owned a moving company, and I was like, hey, man, you hiring anybody right now? Knowing that when word got back to the guys in the band that their new bass player was moving furniture on the break, that they would be like, oh, okay, no, we're giving you a retainer. So I think I worked maybe 2 or 3 days, and Jason Hook, the guitarist back then, he was asking me one day, he's like, what are you getting into today? I was like, I'm just going to work. He's like, work? Like, what are you doing? Just moving furniture? He goes, hold on, the bass player for 5 Finger Death Punch can't be moving furniture. So they stepped up and made it where I didn't have to take that side job when I was at home. Ended up getting a retainer and to be able to afford living. Because I mean, it hurt going from Vegas bartending to new guy being paying my dues in a brand new position. It sucked, but yeah, they stepped up. And then just recently, I just turned 50 back in May, and I was thinking about gratitude and whatnot. I realized when reflecting upon my 40s, that was the first decade in my life that I just did music. That was it. I didn't have to pick up any other jobs. I was a bartending, doing nothing. But all of my 40s, I've been very fortunate just to be able to play music, have that pay the bills, and then open up new opportunities like this by being in the band and whatnot. So yeah, I was very grateful for, like I said, I have worked before. The worst job I ever had, hanging tobacco in a barn in Kentucky. I lasted half a day.
Really?
Oh yeah, it sucked. I was 15 or 16, I think. And they put me up on the top of the barn because that's the person, it's essentially the easiest because you're only getting, like the one at the top. The ones on the bottom, that's the hardest. You get every single one putting it up there. So I was standing up on the top of the barn. I don't smoke. Everybody there was smoking. So all the cigarette smoke
is coming up to you.
all up in the top. I'm touching wet Kentucky tobacco the whole time. I think I got nicotine poisoning because it was brutal. Yeah. I was just standing up there and I was like, I'm going to fall off of this perch that I'm in. I'm going to fall and kill myself up here. And it got to be lunch. I was green, absolutely green. Went over to like this little flatbed that they had with hay on it to just relax.
Get away from the smoke.
Oh yeah, get away from the smoke. I was throwing up.
Were you really nauseous?
Oh, it was awful. Yeah, I think like literally nicotine poisoning because I wasn't wearing gloves, wet tobacco getting on the hands, and it sucked. Yeah,
dude, one of the last jobs I ever had, like real jobs before I started doing stand up was, and it was one of my favorite jobs. I applied for a job at a senior living facility. Mm-hmm. I was living in Seattle still. It's in West Seattle. It's the only tall building in West Seattle when you get over that bridge.
Perfect for senior living. They're like, this is tall enough.
Yeah, I want to say it was like 6. Oh man, it's like 6 stories high. And I applied for a job there, and it was the easiest job in the world. All I did all day long, I report to work, and then I'd wheel people around to get from their room to the cafeteria and back, and it allowed me to just hang out and talk to old people, which I loved. And I did start to notice when I was there in that first few weeks that every floor has higher maintenance people. Mm-hmm. The lowest floor are the people who I mostly dealt with because all they needed help with was getting from the room to cafeteria and back. But the higher the floor, less likely I was able to see those people because those are people who really needed a lot of attention. And then every once in a while, there would be an emergency call. Somebody would ring a buzzer, and it was required that when the buzzer was rang, all hands on deck had to report to that. Except for me, I wasn't part of that staff. That was for the nurses. And you know what's weird about it? I handed out pills to people. I'm not even
Were you an addict back then?
Oh yeah, I was really into cocaine back then. I was, but these were pills that I wasn't a pill guy ever. I was always a cocaine guy, so I didn't care about. But it was part of my thing is I would go, all right, Margaret, here's your nightly, 3 pills. And there was one guy who he was allowed, his doctor said it was okay that with his evening meds, he was allowed to do 1 shot of vodka, and they would pour him a shot of vodka every night. And I would hand him the vodka and he'd do the thing. But one day I reported to work and they said, hey, Craig, just a heads up, we have 3 nurses that called in sick today. So we're going to need your help with some of the more intensive units up here. And got a buzzer call, all hands on deck. And I had to report. And they said, we don't have enough people. It's Rose. And this woman, Rose, would just ring her buzzer all day long for just innocuous stuff. And I got up to her room and I said, hey, Rose, what's going on? And she goes, I need to go to the bathroom. And I was like, all right. So I helped her up. And then I walked over to the bathroom. And then I closed the door. And I just sat down and I waited. She kicked the door open after a few minutes and said, aren't you going to get in here and wipe me? And I went,
oh, my.
Oh, Rose. Come on, Rose. You know you got this.
Yep.
Come on.
Rose gets one movie written about her being on Titanic, coming in with all kinds of requests.
And I said,
typical artist.
Rose, you got to get, we need you to be more independent, Rose. Come on. You can, and she goes, now get in here and wipe me. And I was
I'm paying for this.
Rose, come on, Rose, please. I'm begging you, Rose.
Did you do it?
I quit. I quit my job. I hate to say it, but I quit.
Oh,
I quit that shit.
I love hearing all those stories.
I said, ask your bitch, Rose. Upstairs.
Yep.
Fucking.
Yep. Spending all that Titanic money at the nursing home.
Yeah. And they were starting to allude to the fact that I was going to need to start doing stuff like that. And I just couldn't stomach it. I couldn't stomach wiping butts. And I got out of there.
Speaking of not being able to stomach it, are you familiar with the term pink sock?
I think I just heard that. Should I Google that? Is that like
I'll tell you.
All right,
so ahead. Apparently, my ex-wife.
How is this coming up in your life?
Because my ex-wife, her sister is a nurse who has worked in nursing homes.
She's got the story.
Yeah. So a pink sock is like at a certain point in life, you're no longer able to control your bowels, let alone any of it. So it's a prolapsed anus that comes out, looks like a pink sock. She had to push that. Part of her job was pushing it back in.
Let's get to our sponsors right now.
Pinksock.com.
Everybody.
When your asshole don't work, call Pink Sock.
And McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Ask your bitch.
Minin. Ask your bitch.
Pink Sock, everybody. Pink Sock.
This episode is sponsored by Pink Sock.
Wow.
And Blue Chew to help you push that pink sock right the hell back in.
Dude, I think it's crazy you get to perform in front of those crowds you get to perform for. I mean, you guys on your headlining tours, you get to perform for 20,000 people a night, doing those shows with Metallica, you got to do those stadiums. But man, like a festival like last night, it's just got to be crazy to be around that many people, that many other artists and stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, isn't that when it really starts to hit you when you start doing festivals like that? Do you remember early days of hitting festivals where you would just see a super famous person walking the other way?
Super famous person that we were on tour with, a young man by the name of Rob Halford.
Oh, wow.
Had one of the greatest experiences ever. We were doing a tour with Judas Priest in Europe and playing festivals. And one day I walked into catering. Rob Halford is sitting at a table in catering. He's got a sheet of paper in front of him. He's like circling stuff. And I walk up and say, hey, Rob, what you working on over there? Rob Halford, at whatever age he is, having been in music for as long as he's been in music, was circling the bands on the festival that he wanted to go see that day.
No way.
Yeah, it was awesome. So him and I like bounced around, checking out different bands and talking to him about different music and whatnot.
That's your first time meeting him?
No, we had been on tour with him for a little while. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that was really the first time I hung with Rob Halford.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, that was just awesome thinking, man, like, you know, you look for examples of what you want to be in that line of work. And Rob Halford, incredibly hospitable. He would always watch our show from the side of the stage every single night. Just really, really cool. And then to see him be in music so long, Jason used to make fun of me. He had a thing. He'd be like, hey man, where's Kale? It's 10 o'clock in the morning. Oh, he's out watching Corpse Christ over in the parking lot.
Corpse Christ.
So yeah, I am that guy. I love going to see bands. Festivals are great because then I can kind of bounce around and check out a bunch of different bands. And being in Five Finger Death Punch with all the ties that we have, I'm able to pretty much reach out to anybody and go see shows all the time. Just this past week, I got to go see Architects at the Virgin Hotel here in Vegas. Man,
oh, wow.
Oh, just so tight, so impressive. Just the visually watching those guys. They have a lot of LED screens, completely backlit, and it was blinding.
Really?
In there. Oh, it was incredible. Just real cool vibes. Great songs.
So you can't really see the guys in the band. You're just blinded by light.
Blinded by the light. Yep. Got to pay this entire episode's cash to whoever the fuck wrote that song right there.
Ask your bitch.
Yep. Thank God we're getting promoted by AskYourBitchT-shirts.com. And then the other band that I saw was Twin Temple over at, what was that? That was Oxford something inside the Virgin Hotel. 24 Oxford, is that what it is?
I know the room you're talking about. I don't know what it's called now.
Yeah. It used to be vinyl way back in the day. But I got to see Twin Temple. And Twin Temple is very, I don't even know how to describe it. Yeah, she's getting devil horns over on the side from Darcy. She's giving the devil horns up. Very satanic.
What?
Yeah. But I don't even know how to describe the music. It's like kind of rockabilly, very classic type stuff.
Rockabilly satanic?
Dude, and an incredible saxophone player in the band.
Satan likes the sax?
With like, there was 4 inverted crosses up on stage, lit.
What?
Just incredible band to go see. So much fun. It's basically like a guy and a girl. They're a husband and wife.
Husband and wife satanic?
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite songs was, I think it's called Satan is a Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
I want to get
a song that was the best one. So as an artist, I'm always thinking like, I should have wrote that damn song. They had a brand new song that I don't think's out yet that they were playing live. And it's about, she was talking about how it's a song about if she were to pass away first, what she would expect out of her husband. Like she goes, and we all say, I want him to be happy. I hope he dates. No, I want you to die the same fucking time I do. And that's essentially what the song was. I was like, this is great. So damn good.
Did she introduce the song that way by saying, yeah?
Yep. And I don't remember the chorus right now, but it was so damn funny. And I was just like, that's one of those songs that we all try to be romantic and all this stuff, but just to write a catty, like, no, when I'm gone, you're done too.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about doing stand-up comedy. I love that I can get to see all my favorite comedians for free.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a big festival here in town a couple weeks ago called Skank Fest.
Yep.
And the night before the festival, Dave Attell was headlining a show at a local comedy club, and I stopped in to see him. And he always will insist, and he's like this with all comics. If he knows you, he's like, get on stage. And I go, I don't want to get on stage. And he's like, just get on stage. And I remember saying to him, dude, I'd rather watch 10 more minutes of you than do 10 minutes and take away time from the stage. And
we all would, Craig.
Yeah. Which is exactly what I was hoping Dave would do to like validate me. Like, come on, man. You think people give a shit? And he said, must be fun having a pussy between your legs. And I was like, and so he had me go on stage and then I sat down and watched him. That's like, those friendships, man, that's it's the coolest thing to be able to go see shows for free.
Absolutely. Speaking of comedy, I'm going to go see Hans Kim tonight over at Wise Guys. He's one of the Kill Tony regulars.
Yeah, I know who Hans Kim is.
I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
Did I just see someone posted about having Hans Kim open for them. And I would be fascinated to watch him do a set. Mm-hmm. So he's headlining?
Headlining, yeah. I know Todd Royce. He's a local guy. He's on the bill. And
I know who Todd Royce is.
So much fun. Yeah, I'm really excited. Melissa and I are going to go catch that tonight while you go off and do your vacation thing.
Yep, I'm taking off to Disney World.
Yeah.
Going to go relax for a couple weeks and just chill out with the mouse. And you're going to be nowhere for the next couple months. You're just chilling out.
I'm so excited to not do a damn thing.
All right, so social media, where do people find you?
I am at chriskale.com. Actually, you know what? We're talking about things I'm going to be doing over the break. I'm gonna put this out here because I want you to tell me if this is a good idea.
You're going to get a moving job?
I am going to be delivering some stuff, actually. You remember back in the day during COVID when I was doing the base deliveries?
That was dude.
Yeah.
Over the years, I've done, like, for example, a lot of shows with the band Kiss because I've been making fun of Kiss for years and they have such a great sense of humor. They brought me out to do shows with them. And I start learning how the guys in Kiss make extra money by setting up these cool possibilities for fans. If they got the money and they want to do it, they will have a chance to buy a bass that Gene Simmons actually plays on stage. Gene meets them before the show. He'll autograph the bass. Whatever you want to put on the bass, like lyrics, whatever, just, I love you, Chris. Whatever you want, he'll put it on the bass. And then later that night, he'll tell you what song it's going to be. You're watching the show. Here comes the bass. He's playing it on stage. So you get to take pictures of Gene. Then you get the bass. And so many bands have stolen that idea and started doing it themselves.
Mhm.
But during the pandemic, there were no shows. And this is insane to me because this involves, I don't know if I should say this involves you giving out your personal phone number.
Yeah. Yeah. I always wondered why band members change their phone number after every tour. Now I know.
But no, there's never, like when I was a kid growing up and going to concerts, there was never an opportunity to have Eddie Van Halen's personal phone number so that I could pay for the access to that. And then just like, hey, what's up, Ed?
Yep.
Like, how often does that happen? People just check in with you.
Too many times. Yeah.
All right. But
well, I'm cool though. It's like whatever. You know?
I was gonna say it's like because you have the option of answering or you don't have to pick up the phone. So you did these things during the pandemic where you would like, hey, come to Vegas, have an experience.
Nope, even better. So when COVID was happening, this was during COVID.
Okay.
So when COVID happened, there were no shows going on. I sell a bass package where you buy it before you get to the show right on chriscale.com. You go to the show. I play the bass on stage. I meet with you. I give you the bass that I played on stage. But because of COVID, we ended up having to cancel a tour. I didn't realize that we were canceling the tour. I woke up one Monday morning after having just kicked my old girlfriend out of the house. The very next day, I wake up to 3 requests for refunds on these basses over a tour that I didn't realize that we were canceling. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, everything was hitting all at once. So at that moment, when I got those 3 refund requests, I was like, I'm changing this around. This is bullshit. I'm making lemonade out of being handed lemons. So I got online. I was like, hey, the basses that are available on chriscale.com right now, you're going to want to get them. Big announcement coming on Friday. Friday, I had the idea where I called it the Chris Cale Cure for COVID Tour, where you bought the bass, I packed that bass with me, hopped on the plane, went straight to your house, hand delivered it to you out your house. Instead of having to give back, those packages were $2,000 at that time, sold 13. So instead of giving back 26 grand and sitting at home not knowing when the hell we're going to go back on tour, I think I sold 12 more at that point, and then was able to go out and hand deliver all those things. And it was such a wonderful experience because people were at that point had really nothing to look forward to. You know, we're all stuck in our houses.
Yep.
No live concerts were going on. You couldn't even really go out to eat at that point, I don't think. But yeah, to be able to give them something to look forward to and hand deliver that to them, their house. And it worked for me because at that point, I was in a dark place. Didn't know when I was going to be touring. I didn't realize I had the attachment to being in Death Punch until that was taken away from me a little while. And they were like, oh, thank you so much for giving us something to look forward to. I got you.
I have a question. Whenever you're ready, I have a question.
But they said, you know, thank you so much for giving us something to look forward to. And I'm like, I needed this as much as you guys did. So it was very mutually beneficial for all parties involved. Craig, yes.
Yes, I had a question. Amazing to be on both sides for that because you're able to generate some more income and the fans are excited about it. But did you ever, I have several questions about this. Did you ever, and you are a great social dude. You're great socially anywhere. I can see you in any situation where you're cool. But sometimes the people I think about Bert Kreischer specifically asking Bert once about how weird it is to be that famous to where you must have some fans that are creepy. And he said, oh, there's fans that will pay top dollar to sit in the front row. I'll walk out on stage and there's just one guy just staring, not laughing. They have no shirt on. They want to be like Bert. They're like,
don't we all?
They're just watching him. So did you ever go to somebody's house that was a lump?
There were a couple times when I really had to carry the conversation. But I mean, this is a perfect example. I was in Europe one year and we had just gotten off stage and had gone to like this VIP tent. This is back when I was drinking too, and having a drink, all kinds of drunk people coming up. Oh, babe, hey man, good to see you. Blah, blah, blah. And after about 40 minutes, the person I was with was like, man, you were really good at dealing with drunk people. 13 years bartending in Las Vegas.
Oh, good point.
Yeah. So it's always kind of been just a strength of mine being able to talk to people and really just kind of making people feel comfortable. And to be able to do that during COVID, what I'm thinking about doing on this run, because I've got, I don't know, several months before we go back out.
And so you're starting this all up again. This whole experience is going to start up again right now.
Brand new. I'm thinking about, charging top dollar to have me fly all the way to your house, just like I was doing back in COVID.
Wow.
So you get the vest from Todd over at Junker Designs that hand makes all these vests for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a vest that I wear on stage. I think I have about 8 of them left over from this last tour. So I think I'm going to put those up as like a special, really exclusive VIP package.
So they'll be noted from which cities they were worn in.
No, these are all brand new. The appeal of this one is I'm hand delivering one of those handmade vests to your house. We can hang out. We can do lunch, dinner, hang out, whatever you want to for that day. And then you get the vest at the end of the day, and you get to hang out with what I begrudgingly would call a rock star.
How do you vet these people?
I don't. Yeah. What, did you not listen to that Muay Thai story earlier? Yeah. I will kick you.
You just straight to their house, and whatever happens when you get in that door, it's whatever happens.
Dude, it's so funny because so many people, while I was out on that run, delivering those bases to people's houses.
Oh, other musicians were...
No, the fans were like, man, we were sitting around thinking like, how many people is he going to be bringing with him? Does he have security? Has he got his entourage?
That's
nope,
funny.
Just me hanging out. Yeah, because I was like,
dude, Dave Chappelle will just hang out by himself. I remember him doing an interview on CNN, and Anderson Cooper said, well, that wraps up our interview with Dave Chappelle. And I just want to say on a personal note that we have famous people and important people come to our studios all the time. And they always have some type of entourage. Sometimes you're surprised at how big they are. Sometimes you're surprised at how small they are.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Chappelle, not only, I want to point out, not only did he show up by himself, he showed up at the back of our building on a skateboard.
Oh, no way.
By himself.
That's awesome.
Hey, man, I'm here to do my interview. Let's do it. And then he just jumped in. So to get those packages, where do you go?
ChrisCale.com. By the time this comes out, I should have them up online and ready to go.
Sweet, man. Well, enjoy your break, and we'll keep doing these, keep hanging out and having some fun conversations. So that's it for us, the No Name Podcast right now.
That's right.
And have a great time, man. Get those vests.
Thanks, Blue Chew.
Ask your bitch.